In this video, I'm going to break down what I look for in brands when I'm considering consulting with them or doing services with them. And I'll also show you a specific example of a brand that I'm about to have a meeting with. Okay, so I put this together over the last couple of years of what I feel like I look for in brands. That has changed in little pieces based off of like my skill set and what I feel like I'm good at and just kind of how I'm looking at the world today. But as of right now, here's kind of 9 things that I look for when I'm looking for potential clients as to how we can help them with the things that we do best. So this is in our deck. And if you look at our deck, basically this deck goes all through different things that we do. One more thing I want to hop in here and say is actually tell you like what I do. Like in some of these clients, let me go through some of them. So like Poppy, we sit with the founder, give them storylines, teach them how to film the content, actually look over the content, make sure the content looks good. Sometimes even edit the content. Super Coffee, we found them a creator to do man on the street interviews, to do different types of content. We also sat with their founders and wrote out scripts for them, edited content for them. And it's pretty much along all of these, it's very similar. We either are finding a creator for the brand to run the brand account, make consistent content for the account, social media manage the account, somebody that is making content and helping out the brand account, not an influencer, not the influencer's account, the brand's account. And then the second thing is that we're doing a lot of is on the strategy side and even on the execution is actually looking at the main stories of the company that are the most impactful stories and like getting in it with them and teaching, either teaching or actually producing that content. So like most founders don't actually know how to tell their brand story or the story of the product launch or the story of how they even got the idea to begin with. So like we sit down with them and are like, tell us everything. Tell us this like you are talking on a FaceTime with a friend. Where'd you start? How did this come to you? What were you going through? What emotional experience were you having? And then we record all of that when we come back as a team. It's not a big team. Our small team comes back and sits, and I and them sit and are like, okay, how do we format this to tell this in a way that other people would actually want to listen to? So that's what we've done with a lot of these brands. Like a majority of them are 1 or 2 of those things. And so I just feel like that's important for me to share with you guys what I am actually doing. I just printed out that page, so let me actually show you guys. What we look for. Okay, this is the page. If you couldn't see it in another view, I just want you to glance at this really quick. Let me just read these 9 for you and then I'll go through them one by one. Great team energy, community focused, quality product, leadership team is social driven, product is socially shareable, millennial Gen Z demo skewing more female, unique brand story and angle, product is currently selling well, and well funded. Number 1, great team energy. Talked about this a lot. I really enjoy working with people that also enjoy their work. Some people aren't going to enjoy their work. Not everybody has a mission to absolutely be stoked about the work that they're doing and have passion and purpose involved in that. That's okay. The collective of the group that we're working with, like if we're working with just the social team and we're not working with the overall company, my thing is just the people that are on that call that we're with, we want there to be good energy between everybody. Good chemistry between everybody breeds a lot of creativity. It's very hard to be creative if you're not. It's really hard to be creative if you're in fight or flight, if it's a fearful environment, if there's not support from the people around you, it's hard to breed creative ideas. And in a very creative line of work like us, we try to make sure that everybody feels really good so that there can be even more. That's when the best ideas happen, is when the energy is great. Okay. And then none of these are in order. These are all kind of out of order. Number 2, community focused. Community is such a big part of building a brand today. And if the product itself and the brand is not focused on how do we actually get people that care and are lifelong customers, to me, that's something that I'm like, this brand is only trying to find new people and does not actually care about the people that are their loyal advocates. And I think that that's such a big part of the overall pie of having a brand that does well, is being very community focused. Yes, you're going to be, I'll give you a better example. All the For You pages on social media right now are finding brand new. It's all discovery. It's like, let's post these videos and have it be seen to a ton of brand new people. The people that see that and then go and follow you become people that are in your community. If you don't actually care about anybody that follows you and nurture that, you're always having to go and get new and find new. And most of the time, people that are brand new don't advocate for you the same way that like a repeat customer does. I'm wearing Elwood right now. I've been wearing Elwood for 5 to 7 years. Know the people there, love them, love the product. I am a loyal customer to Elwood. I will go out and tell people about Elwood because I love the product so much, because I'm part of their community, because they make me feel cared for as a part of their community with different promotions, with communication to the people that are in their community. So community focus is such a big part of building a brand. Yes, there is new, then there's also farming the people that you now have in your community. So community focus is number 2. Okay, number 3, quality product. So I put quality product and then I put the benefits, the experience, the branding, and the price. When I go and try out a new product, those are typically the 4 things that I look for. The benefits of a product are like, actually, is this making me feel better, look better, perform better? Am I showing up better from using this product? Experience of it, that's the taste, that's the feel, that's the look of it on you. The experience of it is like, really, is this, it could be opening the packaging, that can be, it's what's the experience of it. The branding is, how does the brand present itself? Is it something that I align with? A lot of Gen Z, millennial, vibrant individuals feel really close to the brand Poppy because the branding of Poppy appeals to them. It's bright, it's bubbly, it's expressive. That to me is an example of really good branding. Hits very heavily with the people that they are trying to get to. And the last one is price. You can have all of those things of a benefit, experience, branding, but if your price is completely different than other people that are in the same market as you, and the audience doesn't resonate with that, none of those things are going to work. Now, pricing is, I'm not even going to say pricing is my specialty. Pricing is definitely not my specialty. And I do think there's a sweet spot because some brands can price themselves a little bit higher and they actually merit a good response by doing that because of the other things, the benefits, the experience, and the branding, that some people want to pay more for it. A Rimowa suitcase is a lot more than an Away suitcase. They have their reasoning for that. To me, I believe it. I'm okay with that. So the price just needs to be what is suitable to your demographic. I'm not the person to make it up. You have to. The brand has to understand who their demo is and will they buy that. So that's the third block. Let me just make sure this is still recording. Okay, we're good. Okay. Here we go. Next on the list. The leadership team is socially driven. we all know that social media is where we're going to get our new products, our new ideas, meeting new people. Everything is happening through social. So if you have a team that has a great product, has great team energy, but the founder and the chief operating officer, chief marketing officer, like the leadership team does not believe in social, to me that is a big red flag. Because as an agency or as a creative team or as strategists or as influencers, if I'm going to work with a brand and their leadership team doesn't care about social media, it's already an uphill battle. And I would rather spend my time not trying to convince people that social media is the right play. I would rather spend my time finding people that are obsessed with it and can't wait to work together, because there are those people out there. And I've just gone through periods where I'm trying to convince, and it just ends up being like, you don't need to you don't need to spend your time on convincing. Spend your time on finding the people that align with the values that you have. So something that we really look for is the leadership team socially driven? If they are, to me, that's a very big green flag. Okay, the product, socially shareable. I don't know what a good analogy is, because I do think that there is products that typically wouldn't be socially shareable, that people love sharing. But for me, when I am going to work with a brand as somebody who is doing strategy behind the brand, or is producing content for the brand, or is working with the brand in a talent capacity, or if I'm going to invest in a company, I want the product to be something that people absolutely love taking photos with. I want the product to be socially shareable. Poppy became an aesthetic. People wanted to share that they're drinking a Poppy. Same with Olipop. People like taking photos of the drinks that they're drinking. Look at this. Like, this is a cup that people became obsessed with sharing. I want products that are socially shareable. I want to work with brands that people really enjoy taking a photo and sending it to somebody else, because then they are doing the marketing for you, and it's easier to find advocates for it than, let's just say, for example, something that isn't socially shareable, like, let's say, socks. It doesn't mean that people don't ever share it. Like, I would even say deodorant people will share sometimes, and like period care women will share sometimes, and sexual wellness people will share sometimes. I mean, it's just not frequently done. And I want to find products that are frequently shared, that people are stoked about sharing, that they share often, because you have a much bigger leg up on the products that are not socially shareable. Okay, next one. This one is particular to me. Millennial Gen Z demo, skewing female. The only reason why this is particular to us is we have created a database of creators. So we now have this network of talent that brands can work with in all different ways. It just so happens that the majority of Los Angeles creators skew female and are in this demo, Millennial Gen Z demo, skewing female. So through me making content, through us as an agency putting out feelers for brands, through CPG, better for you, consumer packaged goods that are in the space of health and wellness, this is typically the demo that they are initially starting with. Millennial, Gen Z, skewing a little bit female. Does that mean that it can break out of it eventually? Absolutely. Poppy, another time to use them, is no longer necessarily going after Millennial Gen Z demo. They're also pushing into older women. They're pushing into non-traditional markets. They're pushing into middle America. They're not just staying in like the health and wellness LA scene. So to me, it's like, this doesn't necessarily need to be, that one, Millennial Gen Z demo skewing female, doesn't necessarily need to be a once all be all. But if we're looking for a brand that started, that's typically the demo that we can absolutely crush. Okay, next one. Unique brand story and angle. We all, whether we realize it or not, purchase with a mix of emotion and logic. The logic part of it is the nutritional information, it's the price point, it's the necessity. The emotional side of it is, wow, what's the story? Oh, wait a minute, does this brand relate to me? The visual appearance of it, is it something that I vibe with? That's all the emotional side of it. So if a brand has a unique story and a unique angle, for me as a marketer and as a strategist and as a content producer, all of those different lanes, I look for a very unique angle because I know how to tell that story. It's much harder to market a founder that just jumped into the market. It's much harder to market a founder who just jumped into the game because they saw a gap in the industry and wanted to build a product than it is somebody that like had had something go on in their life that led them to this epiphany that they were like, I actually want to change this so that the next people after me can have a better experience in a way that I didn't have an experience. So I'm going to go create this. To me, I look at that and I'm like, that is the kind of stuff that I want to tell. There's probably a little bit of me feeling like I enjoy the underdog story, which most people do. But a unique brand story is to me such an immense benefit. I will also say this. The unique stories don't need to be around the founder. It could be, you could have a brand that has that founder that is just jumped into it because they saw a gap in the market, but they're like, wait a minute, the product launch that we had was crazy and we went through a serious challenge trying to get this product out into the world, and that be the unique story. So you gotta be extracting these stories as a company, the unique ones, and telling them, because those are a way to get your audience to buy into you more. So that's something that I really look for. What's a unique brand story and a unique angle? Okay, last two. Product is currently selling well. Over the past, I'd say year and a half or 2 years, I've started to skew a little bit more away from brands that are brand new. The reason for this is, in the past, when I was just starting, the work that I was doing really was much lower cost for me to be able to actually do it. Like, I was making videos, I was the person that was going and filming them, I was doing all the strategy, I was doing the recruiting. So it just was like, we didn't really have any overhead, so I could charge much less and it still be workable for my company. Now, if we're doing these videos, typically the brands want them to be higher production, and I don't have the capabilities to do that. So I actually have people on my team now that are real, like, traditional cinematographers that can go and produce that content. And so therefore the overhead is bigger. So I have to charge more. And a lot of the brands that are just brand new and are just starting out don't have the budget to be able to afford that. I understand, and I still will try to work with some of them, potentially from a strategy standpoint, or even just offer help. But just as a business, it's a lot of times it's too hard for us to work with companies that are in their first year or haven't even started yet or about to launch. A lot of the times it's just not easy for us to work with them. So the product currently selling well means that the brand is usually doing pretty well and is usually in a good enough point for us to work with them. So that's why I have product is currently selling well. The last part about product currently selling well would also be, if your product is currently selling well, that means that we don't have to do the work for you to get people to actually like the product. Because a lot of agencies, you can market the shit out of something and be really good at marketing, but if the product is not good itself, it's not going to sell well. You'll get people that will buy one time, but then will get the product, try it once, be like, I didn't like this, and never buy it again. Your marketing, even if it's the best video, best email, best post, that's not getting that person to go buy again because now they had a bad experience with the product. So I really like looking for products that are currently selling well and they just haven't done the marketing well, because to me, I'm like, that is a fire that I can go pour gasoline on because you guys have already done the product side. and people are liking it. So let me help with the other side. Okay. Last one. Last one is well-funded. This ties into the same thing of like they're not strapped for finances. They're not strapped for cash. They're not in a place where this is like make or break for them. Make or break for them. I'm not necessarily opposed to working with people if they are bootstrapped, if I really believe in it with all these other things. But just from in the past, having worked with tons of brands that are bootstrapped, I would much rather look for a brand that has all of these other things and is currently selling well and has resources, because the more resources that we have, the more we can pour into other things to help move the needle for you. So being well-funded, that's very vague. There's not like a number size for me. To me, it's just like, I just want to know that you guys are good. This isn't a worst case scenario or like a last ditch effort. I want to go and help brands that already have a little bit of a fire, and we come in and we pour the gasoline. So these are the things that we look for. What we look for right now. Yeah, those change, but this is what this is the kind of spreadsheet that I am looking for right now. All right, now let's look at this brand that I'm going to be going and speaking with in a little. So let's just check this out. Okay, so using this same thing of what we look for, let me look through this and kind of see if what I think about it. Can't tell a lot of these just from viewing this. Where are we at here? There we go. Okay. Okay, bored and thirsty. Art that fuels. Let's inspire you to become more creative and productive. Free through art, entertainment, and hydration. We invite you to taste a more colorful world. Limited edition cans. Okay, so this is a unique angle. Limited edition cans, a Bored Ape can, some different kind of art can, some different kind of art can. So there's a unique angle there. Like this I like. Collabs makes me feel like they're unique story and unique angle, community focused, because this seems like it is their community of artists and entertainers and athletes. So I think that's an interesting one. Looks like they've collabed with a couple different places. One Drop, Soul Fest. Let me zoom in here. Looks like they've collabed with a couple different places, making some merch. To me, that doesn't matter quite yet unless it's really in demand. But all right, let's look at how socially native they are. Instagram doesn't look like it's too big of a priority. No consistency. No, this is just my glance. This is what runs through my head. So when I look at this, I'm like, okay, they have 700 followers. They're following 140 people. Looks like they have posted on their story because that's highlighted right now. Looks like there's not necessarily a consistency in their grid, in their feed, in their content. Looks like they maybe are showing some community members. That doesn't look like it's necessarily a collaboration. Looks like they are making some videos around product, I guess. Let's just click through some of these. Animated, not sure what that one is. Okay, that looks like they're sponsoring one of these cars. Product and retail, some UGC with maybe some people in their audience, event that they're sponsoring, some graphics. So to me, their social does not look great. It just looks like it hasn't been a priority. And that's okay. Just looks like it hasn't been a priority, but there is a unique angle. The way that I would look at this would be like, I think that they should lean way heavier into the collaborations that they're doing. Like, you know, if this is a collab that they're doing around Wonderfront, I would make a whole, let's zoom out here. I would make an entire video around what goes on at Wonderfront, why people should care about it, why they picked Wonderfront to collaborate with, and how they're showing up there, rather than just the cans. Let's see another one. Like Bored Ape is an interesting one. The word bored in it, collabing with Bored Ape. To me, I think that they should really tell Bored Ape stories, whether that's an animated series with Bored Ape, whether that's them telling stories about different collectors of Bored Apes, whether that's them telling stories of how they made this can, how it came to life. Just needs to be a lot more storytelling. If I look at this, it's impossible for me to necessarily tell team energy, the quality of the product. I'm about to meet with the team to see if they're leadership driven, socially shareable. I do think that it's socially shareable. Like, drinks are socially shareable. And if you are going after Bored Ape collectors and you have a Bored Ape can, that is something that they will want to post. So that works for me. Millennial Gen Z demo skewing female. I feel like this one skews a little bit more male, but to me, that's not too big of a concern. I feel like this is very Millennial Gen Z with how artistic and kind of creative it is, and I feel like that's a expressive thing that is working right now. No clue about their funding, and no clue about how the product is selling. We can look at Amazon and see. It looks like it's on Amazon. There's not a link in this one. Wait, grab some. We can look and see on Amazon if it's moving. 58 reviews, 4 to 5 stars. So I wouldn't say that it seems like it's flying off of the shelves, but this could be pretty new. So we're gonna go jump on this call and see what they say. I can't film the call, unfortunately, but I'll give you guys some thoughts afterwards. All right, I just got off the call with Bored and Thirsty. Sometimes I get off calls with people that are just really, really, really kind people, and I just fucking love being able to do this, and meet cool people and have opportunities. And I'll balance that with saying, at some point, I think I started to develop this like feeling of being overworked and not saying no to things that created this kind of like urgency to say no to things really quick, because I'm like, oh, I don't have time for that, or oh, this isn't worthwhile for our business. So how is it going to be more worthwhile for our business? And I've been noticing myself wanting to say yes to a lot more things and being like, it's gonna fucking work out. It's gonna be okay. Like, if you say yes to something and you don't enjoy it, now you have new information to say no to things in the future. But I would say at times, I think there's some things that I say no too quick to, without being a little bit more open-minded and optimistic. So I'm trying to do more of that. I'm trying to say yes to more things. I just walked you guys through a lot of the things that I look for in companies. There is still some sort of guidelines that I feel like I have as a skill set I can help the most. There are things that I should say no to because I genuinely don't feel like I can help. But I'm gonna try and say yes to some more things, because when you move into like it's almost like it's abundance, but abundance can be very vague. It's just the willingness to say yes to things and pull good out of them. I'll speak for me. When I do that and I say yes to things, then I go into them being like, I'm going to do my best in this. I'm going to give the best help that I can. I'm going to try and give the most value, the most love, the most energy. And I am going to hope that something comes back. Every fucking time something comes back. 0.0% of times has something not come back when I approach it from that attitude. And I also would say, in the moments where I go into it being like, I got to get something back from this. This needs to be this way. This needs to come from this. we need to get money or relationships or attention or something out of this. Most of the times when I approach it that way, it doesn't work out the way that I want it to. So approach things with optimism and a willingness to say yes and show up and give love, and you'll be surprised how much good shit comes your way.